Sarah Plain and Tall, Chapter 4. Let's look at our comprehension questions here. Sarah knows a lot of things. Name some of the things that she is teaching to the children. Number 2. What are some of the hints that Sarah gives to show that she is thinking of staying with the Whitting family? And number 3. How do you know Sarah still misses her home? Find the details in the chapter. Open up your books and pause the video. I'm going to start reading chapter 4. The dogs loved Sarah first. Lottie slept beside her bed, curled in a soft circle, and Nick leaned his face on the covers in the morning, watching for the first sign that Sarah was awake. No one knew where Seal slept. Seal was a roamer. Sarah's collections of shells sat on the windowsill. A scallop, she told us, picking up the shells one by one. A sea clam, an oyster, a razor clam, and a conch shell. If you put it to your ear, you can hear the sea. She put it to Caleb's ear, then mine. Papa listened too. Then Sarah listened once more, with a look so sad and far away that Caleb leaned against me. So, how do you know Sarah still misses her new home? Well, right there is a hint from the detail from the chapter pointing to that. She held the conch shell up to her ear, listened, and then she had this look so sad and far away. At least Sarah can hear the sea, Caleb whispered. Papa was quiet and shy with Sarah, and so was I, but Caleb talked to Sarah from morning until the light left the sky. Where are you going? He asked. To do what? To pick flowers, said Sarah. I'll hang some of them upside down and dry them, so they'll keep some color, and we can have flowers all winter long. I'll come too, cried Caleb. Sarah said winter, he said to me. That means Sarah will stay. So right there's a hint that maybe she's thinking of staying with the family. Together we picked flowers, paintbrush and clover and prairie violets. There were buds on the wild roses that climbed up the paddock fence. The roses will bloom in early summer, I told Sarah. I looked to see if she knew what I was thinking. Summer was when the wedding would be, might be, Sarah and Papa's wedding. We hung the flowers from the ceiling in little bunches. So right there's actually a lack of information. It doesn't say what Sarah's response was to Anna about the roses blooming. That lack of information might be a hint that Sarah misses her home and is maybe thinking that she won't stay. We hung the flowers from the ceiling in little bunches. I've never seen this before, said Sarah. What is it called? Bride's bonnet, I told her. Caleb smiled at the name. So there's something Sarah doesn't know, but if you go back, Sarah knew a lot about the flowers. So that might be something she's teaching the kids about. We don't have this by the sea, she said. We have seaside goldenrod and wild asters and woolly ragwort. Woolly ragwort, Caleb whooped. He made up a song. Woolly ragwort all around, woolly ragwort on the ground, woolly ragwort grows and grows, woolly ragwort in your nose. Sarah and Papa laughed, and the dogs lifted their heads and thumped their tails against the wood floor. Seal sat on a kitchen chair and watched us with yellow eyes. So those flowers are more information she knows, teaching the kids. We ate Sarah's stew. The late light coming through the windows. Papa had baked bread that was still warm from the fire. The stew is fine, said Papa. Ayah, Sarah nodded. The bread too. What does ayah mean? Asked Caleb. In Maine it means yes, said Sarah. Do you want more stew? Sarah just taught him something else. Ayah, said Caleb. Ayah, echoed my father. After dinner, Sarah told us about William. He has a gray and white boat named Tittywake. She looked out the window. She's looking out the window as though she's kind of missing her home. That is a small gull found way off the shore where William fishes. So his boat, the Tittywake, is named after the gull. There are 3 aunts who live near us. They wear silk dresses and no shoes. You would love them. Ayah, said Caleb. Does your brother look like you? I asked. Yes, said Sarah. He is plain and tall. At dusk, Sarah cut Caleb's hair on the front steps, gathering his curls and scattering them on the fence and ground. Seal batted some hair around the porch as the dogs watched. "Why?" asked Caleb. "It's for the birds," said Sarah. "They will use it for their nests. Later, we can look for nests of curls." Again, something she's teaching Caleb. Sarah said later, Caleb whispered to me as we spread his hair about. "Sarah will stay." There's a hint. Sarah cut Papa's hair too. No one else saw, but I found him behind the barn, tossing the pieces of hair into the wind for the birds. Sarah brushed my hair and tied it up in back with a rose velvet ribbon she had brought from Maine. She brushed hers long and free and tied it back too. And we stood side by side looking into the mirror. I looked taller like Sarah, and fair and thin. And when my hair pulled back, I looked a little like her daughter, Sarah's daughter. And then it was time for singing. Sarah sang us a song we had never heard before. As we sat on the porch, insects buzzing in the dark, the rustling cows in the grasses. It was called Sumer is a Cumin. Sumer is a Cumin in. And she taught it to us all, even Papa, who sang as if he had never stopped singing. Sumer is a Cumin in, lewd sing cuckoo. "What is Sumer?" asked Caleb. He said it Sumer, the way Sarah had said it. "Summer," said Papa and Sarah at the same time. Caleb and I looked at each other. Summer was coming. "Tomorrow," said Sarah, "I want to see the sheep, you know. I've never touched one." "Never?" Caleb sat up. "Never," said Sarah. She smiled and leaned back in her chair. "But I've touched seals, real seals. They are cool and slippery, and they slide through the water like fish." So those are some facts about seals that she's teaching them. They can cry and sing and sometimes bark a little like dogs. Sarah barked like a seal, and Lottie and Nick came running from the barn to jump up on Sarah and lick her face and make her laugh. Sarah stroked them and scratched their ears, and it was quiet again. "I wish I could touch a seal right now," said Caleb, his voice soft in the night. "So do I," said Sarah. She sighed. Then she began to sing the Sumer song again, or the summer song again. Far off in a field, a meadowlark sang too. So when Sarah sighs, what does that indicate about her? Does that mean she's missing her home? Let's take a look at some of the vocabulary from this chapter. We hung the flowers from the ceiling in little bunches. Bunches is a plural noun, and it means a group of something. "For the birds," said Sarah. "They will use it for their nests." Here we go. Nests is a plural noun, and it means a bird's home which is made to hold its eggs and baby birds. And sometimes they bark like dogs. Bark is a verb, and it's the sound that a dog makes.